I'm ready to know what the writers know. Ask them my questions and get some answers. Like, what is good writing and why does theirs, I don't know, suck? When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to destroy all these remakes above? Watch and you'll see. Someday I'll be in charge of Disney because they're making bank off these remakes nowadays. This video is sponsored by that bomb-ass lyric change I just thought of like a half hour ago. Nailed it! How's it going, guys? HOIT Abbott here, and today we're going to be reviewing the Little Mermaid remake directed by Rob Marshall. This is one of the many in the long streams of Disney live-action remakes that we've gotten. I hate almost every single one of these. They're really bad. I just dislike them. Shouldn't be made. I will tell you right now, the Little Mermaid surprised me. So, if you haven't seen the animated version or the live-action version, I guess you're in for spoilers because you don't know anything about the plot. So, spoiler section, it'll be a quick one. This will be a quickie movie review anyway because I don't have a lot of expansive thoughts, because I feel like with enjoying these remakes, you have to be like a massive fan of the original to really hate it to the hardcore level. Like, to be honest, like Beauty and the Beast, I have not seen that remake, but I'm not too tied to the animated version, so I don't know if I'll really care that as much as I did if like they screw up Hercules or like Lilo and Stitch, or if they do like they did with Mulan. I'm a fan of Mulan. It's a great Disney film, one of my top 5, top 10 favorites, and they totally fecked it up. Embarrassing. But with The Little Mermaid, I actually watched the animated version this morning to kind of see if that affected my thoughts on the live-action version, and no, it really doesn't, because the live-action version actually does something that the other live-action films have not done as of late. They nail the tone and the heart when it counts. So, moments where you have Ariel and Prince Eric, and they're, trying to fall in love, Sebastian and Scuttle are trying to get them to fall in love, and Flounder's there too, looking terrifying. It nails that moment, that heart, that good feeling that you get when those songs come on. I wouldn't say, obviously this isn't better than the original with the songs, because I feel like the only one that really holds a candle is Halle Bailey's Part of Your World. Under the Sea was enjoyable. There's a song with Scuttle that was probably not needed. It was fun enough if you have context for the film. But honestly, I don't think that this would, I wasn't going into this thinking it was going to beat the original. None of these have beaten the original so far. It's just not going to happen, in my opinion. You just can't beat the original. Halle Bailey really does a great job as Ariel. She is definitely the highlight of the film. She has got your attention every scene. Her singing is incredible. Her voice is heavenly. And honestly, you guys honestly, props to Disney for choosing her as Ariel, because honestly, her voice sounds super close. Like, if you play her voice with, gosh, I'm sorry, what's her name? The original film, then, I mean, honestly, you hear a slight difference, of course, but the notes, the timing, the heart, it's great. It's just spot on. It really is. Of course, the Part of Your World scene is considered in Disney as like one of the most iconic scenes, and while obviously the live-action version, like I said, isn't as good as the animated, I feel like this is probably about where I was starting to kind of get lost, because the first act of the film, it can get very dark when you're in those underwater scenes. So it was losing me a little bit at the beginning, but then she gets into part of that world, and then I was in from there. So I was very engaged after that point, so that scene probably saved me from a lot of pain going through this movie, just bored out of my mind. I really do like the animated version. I think it's great. It's very iconic. It's beautifully animated, very colorful, very vibrant. The heart is there. Great climax, great characters, great voice acting, of course. But it just isn't always my go-to Disney film. It's not one of my all-time favorites because I just don't go for the I would say Disney princess films, but like I like the Little Mermaid in the same way I like Tangled, where it's more about someone not really just finding a prince, but it's about like breaking out of like their normalities, their life that they're kind of kept in this cage. They want to get out, they want to see the world, they want to try new things, and just seeing Ariel go through that journey here was really great. It was enjoyable. I will say the guy that played Prince Eric didn't do much for me personally. Javier Bardem was fine for the time that he's in it when he's not sounding like he's just totally there 100% for the paycheck. And Melissa McCarthy, congratulations to her agent because they finally put her in something that was worth a damn. Congratulations. Great. Cuz I mean, you remember the Netflix movies and the one with the puppets? You remember that one? That was weird. um but yeah, she really shines here. She's got the voice of Ursula down. The Poor Unfortunate Souls was great. I really did enjoy that. Trying to think of anything really before we get into the spoilers because it's hard to kind of move around the spoilers with the story we have going on. Basically, all you need to know is that Ariel wants to be on the human world. She meets a prince, and she falls in love. She wants to be with him, but her dad is against humans. Ursula is trying to get Ariel to take advantage of Triton's power. She wants to rule, yada yada. You get the gist of it if you've seen the animated film. I was just saying that for people that haven't. But yeah, I think honestly, The Little Mermaid, it has its flaws, right? The water scenes are just not good. They do not look good at all. I think James Cameron has wiped our minds of any good quality water scenes in film after his work with The Way of Water last year. But regardless of that, you can't really pedestal these two together by that. You can't do that to them. But yeah, the water just does not look good. This film also could have been cut down a little bit. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes, whereas the original sits at just below 90 minutes. Just do some trimming here and there. Just could have shortened it out a little bit. No need to drag this on for too long. The story is pretty paced out well in the original film. And here, it felt natural still as it was moving on, but I feel like they could have tightened it up just a little bit. Um, and then, yeah, Flounder's terrifying, and, that's really all I got. I'm gonna give The Little Mermaid a 7 out of 10. Now, it's not a movie that I see myself revisiting every year. It's not one that I really see as like, oh, I'm going to watch this instead of the animated version, because you're always going to go back to that animated version. But let's just say this was a nice trip to an alternate reality, where The Little Mermaid was done right in live action, for the most part. Haley Bailey holds it down, Melissa McCarthy's great in it. And it was just a great, enjoyable time. It has the heart when it needs it. It has the comedy when it needs it. Few and far between, surprisingly. There's not a whole lot of comedy in this, in between the animal stuff and just some of the stuff going on in the songs. But nonetheless, yeah, The Little Mermaid gets a 7 out of 10. Very enjoyable remake, and congratulations, Disney. You are off my shit list for right now, because we still have a long year ahead of us. Getting into the spoiler section, we're going to keep it brief here. So, of course, if you've seen the animated film, you know that Ariel gets her voice taken by Ursula. She makes a deal to lose her voice. In return, she gets to fall in love with the prince. But she has to kind of make the prince fall in love with her by getting a kiss. So that's what leads Sebastian and the others to help her, do the kiss the girl scene. She has to get Eric to kiss her. Eric is kind of confused. He's looking for this woman that saved him from the shipwreck, and he thinks it could be Ariel, but at the same time he hears that she can't speak, so he's like, oh, there's no way. But over time, he does actually end up, that's a mosquito. I don't know how we have mosquitoes down and underwater. Don't come at me for that. Over time, throughout the film, he does come around to Ariel. They start bonding about adventuring, and I really do like that, because in the original film, it was kind of just like they went on a tour of the town, and he thought she was cute, and, He did get that a little bit of sense of adventure from her, but here we get like Ariel and him looking at maps and like talking navigation and trading and stuff like that. And that was enjoyable. It was nice to see something that gave them a little bit more chemistry than they did in the original. Not that they didn't have a lot in the original. I would just say it was lacking a little bit just based off the they don't have a lot of time together. And in the remake, they use that time pretty well. So they get to a point where they're like, hey, I really like you, you really like me, and Eric is like, I'm gonna go, I might actually, this might be the one. But then Ursula takes matters into her own hands, turns into this beautiful woman, which the actress that played, all right now, that's all I'll say on that. She tricks Eric into falling in love with her, saying like, oh, I'm Ariel, I'm the one that saved you, I had the voice and everything. But Ariel's like, nah, we're not doing that. She cries for a little bit, sure, but then Scuttle fills her in on what's happening. So Ariel rushes in. They have the big climax with Ursula growing large. That was very cool to see. Once again, it is very dark because of the storm. I get with animation you can find ways to light it up so it wasn't as bad in that version. But this one, it's just very dark. It was hard to get a sense of everything that was going on because you have Ursula using magic, and Flounder and Sebastian are around there, and Eric's there, and Ariel's here, and the townspeople are looking on, and Trident's looking on from below. So it's just kind of hard to place on whether I feel like they did that one as good as the original or not. But Eric still gets to drive the boat into her. I was very surprised with that. I was thinking that they weren't going to have Ursula getting stabbed violently by the tip of the boat. Because, who knows, nowadays, Disney will censor anything. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, and I was glad to see that they kept that in. So, yeah, other than that, really, that's all I can really say on the spoiler section. I was glad that they had those moments in there. They kept the fireworks. They have the dingle hoppers, who's it's and what's it's, all that stuff. The Scuttlebutt song. Okay. I'm not gonna give it shit because Aquafina gets enough hate already, and I really don't see why. She seems like a very hilarious person, and I've really enjoyed her stuff outside of what was the one thing I didn't really care for much in? Raya and the Last Dragon. Didn't care for her much in that, but other than that, I've had no problem with what she's done. I'm looking forward to her returning to the MCU actually soon. But yeah, like I said, Halle Bailey holds it down, and yeah, she really. This is her film, and she owned it. So yeah, I'm very happy to report good news this time on a movie review. So thank you guys so much for watching the review. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like down below and share it with your friends. Subscribe for more movie reviews, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, and goodbye.